Welcome back to the channel and a new video. If you like it, please hit subscribe and click the bell icon to notify of when I release a new video. Thank you for your support. Good morning and welcome back to a new video. You join me on the drive up to Hardwick Hall and the Hardwick Estate, where we're visiting today. The stopover last night at the Okeover Arms was amazing. Very quiet, very peaceful. I had a good night's sleep. And I had a lovely meal at the pub on the evening as well, which was an Indian mixed grill, which was very nice and tasty, and it went down a treat. So if you are interested in staying there, I will leave a link in the description box below, so please feel free to visit, but advisable to book, as it did get quite busy in the evening as well. A few vans turned up and stopped the night also. So I'll join you back again when we've reached to the car park, and enjoy the views. See you shortly. So you join me on the Hardwick Estate in Derbyshire, and it's the home of the Hardwick Hall that we're visiting today. There's the map of the area we're looking at. It does have quite extensive gardens, but it's mainly the house that we're looking at today. We're just walking in through the courtyard, where there's a few gift shops and coffee shops around this part of the estate, and then you can just see the actual Hardwick Hall in the background. Hardwick's history is closely associated with the lady who built it, born Elizabeth Hardwick, who became Countess of Shrewsbury, known to many simply as Bess of Hardwick. She was born on the site of the Hardwick Old Hall, and she rose to a position of great power within the Elizabethan society. The very fact that Hardwick was built is a sure sign of the best wealth, power and ambition. The audacious architectural design and materials used alongside the lavish interior were chosen by Bess to impress, and they continue to do so today. And you can just see the Hardwick Hall in the background, past the extensive gardens that surround the property, but we're going to have a look inside. They do let you record, so I should be able to record some footage. Just walking down the path to the actual hall itself, and this is the Hardwick Old Hall is known. This is where actual Bess was actually born. It was an old family home, but it is ruins today, but you can look around, so we can have a look around that a bit later on. And there you can see a glimpse of the hall itself, and we're just walking into the main entrance to the hall, with all the architecture of the walls surrounding the building. And as we approach the path to the actual Hardwick Hall, you can see how extensive the property is from the outside. And this was the second property that was built. And here we are inside the main entrance hall. So Bess of Hardwick is almost as famous for her 4 marriages as she was for her building activities. Born in 1527 to a minor gentry family, she was married at 15, but her young husband, Robert Barlow, died a year later. By her mid-teens, Bess found herself at court in London as a lady-in-waiting to a member of her extended family. While at court, Bess caught the eye of an older courtier, William Cavendish, treasurer of the King's Chamber, and the two married in 1547. Together they bought the Derbyshire estate of Chatsworth, built a new house there, and made it their country seat. The couple had 8 children, 6 of whom survived into adulthood, and they set up their family home at Chatsworth, the first of many homes that Bess commissioned. After Sir William's sudden death in 1557, she married a third husband, Sir William St. Lo, one of Queen Elizabeth's courtiers, and herself soon became an intimate friend of the Queen. When St. Lo died suddenly in 1565, he left everything to Bess. After her next marriage to George Talbot, 6th Earl of Shrewsbury, in 1567, a statesman high in royal favour and one of the richest men in the country, Bess became a countess. She arranged marriages between her son Henry and Grace Talbot and her daughter Mary and Shrewsbury's heir Gilbert, intertwining the two families. Soon after they were married, George Talbot, 6th Earl of Shrewsbury, was made custodian of Mary Queen of Scots. She remained in his charge for the next 15 years, moving between his many mansions, including Chatsworth. The strain of the royal guest put pressure on Bess' marriage, and after several years of bitter quarrelling and the violent collapse of her fourth marriage, Bess fled from Chatsworth in 1584 to her family estate at Hardwick here. When she returned as a countess, she needed something grander than her father's medieval manor house. Bess commissioned a new house near to her family home, and in 1587, which became known as the Hardwick Old Hall now, as a new one was built. Even before the new house was finished, plans changed, and in 1590 the Earl of Shrewsbury died, and barely a month later the foundations were being dug for Hardwick New Hall, which is this one we're walking around today. This time using a professional architect. For the first time in English history, Robert Smyson, known as the first English architect, utilised new ideas on symmetry in his designs and created plans that were in complete contrast to the adjacent Old Hall. Contrary to what might be expected, the Old Hall was not abandoned in favour of the new one. Instead, the two were intended to complement each other like two wings of one building. The sheer quantity of glass was daring, giving rise to the local saying Hardwick Hall, more glass than wall. The size of the windows boldly increases as the building rises from the ground, and the turrets at the very top are emblazoned with the initials ES and a coronet, leaving no one in any doubt of who built Hardwick. Best moved into the house in 1597 and 4 years later compiled an inventory. The list of the contents of the house reveals the scale of Bessie's work and a treasure trove of the very best interior furnishings at the time. A house filled with splendid tapestries, as you can see walking around the hall itself, fine furniture and grand portraits, many of which survive, as you can see today, and you can have a look around the house yourself, and also guided tours are available with more history than I can find out myself. It's hard to capture on camera just how vast the ceilings were and how high they were, but it was definitely a big space. You just don't get to see anything like this in buildings today.
Have you found a unicorn in there?
Oh, stop it. Can you see it?
Here's some more detailed look of the tapestries that are throughout the house. The detail on them was quite remarkable.
This is how it would have been, which is reeds from the river.
Yeah.
So if you think about the 6 or 8 reeds hand plaited, herbs put in, one strip, sewed another strip, sewed another strip. Underneath here is Tudor concrete.
Yeah.
Because if you look at that there is the spine of the house.
Yes.
So that's the road there.
Yeah.
She's then built out and she's put these turrets on, A, because they're aesthetically pleasing,
Yeah.
B, they give you more space,
Yeah.
but they're actually like buttresses as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
But this
And here's a few the portraits I mentioned earlier. They are throughout the property, but certain rooms had a few more than others.
those 3 lights here. These lights are not
I was coming to tell you,
That's why they have done.
when it's your lunchtime, I'll take you off.
Oh, okay.
So we might like to lunch you. Oh, right. I thought it was between 1 and 2. Well, if you don't mind, I'll finish it. Yeah, that's fine. I'll get to do that then. I'll do 12:30 and 1 o'clock. Yeah. Oh no. I noticed that one. Hello there.
I will do my light readings, Bev,
Okay.
and then the sheet is full for the spot, the sunlight spot.
Okay.
So I can bring up some fresh lights and a sheet, and then it's
Okay.
ready.
Hello.
Oh, are you okay?
Doesn't it? Because I mean, it came from Chatsworth.
That's definitely the warmest room.
Temperature difference.
You can, yeah. Especially with shorts on. Sadly, in 1608, in her mid-80s, Bess, one of England's most powerful women, died at Hardwick, leaving her son, William Cavendish, in charge of Hardwick. He was the founder of the Cavendish family, Dukes of Devonshire, who are still based at the Chatsworth estate that Bess and his father had bought. She was buried in a tomb in Derby Cathedral. Oh, yeah. So we're just heading down. I would have thought it would be like the servants' stairs, as you can tell by the grandeur of the ones we walked up. These are a lot smaller and narrower.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because we're from Ripley.
Right, so that would be
it's a
your
bit
nearest.
closer. Yeah.
Well, it's worth looking on the websites for these places, and
Yeah.
they'll
Yeah.
tell you what volunteering opportunities.
Yeah, it won't
are
be the
around.
talkative bit, she don't talk that much, does
No,
she?
no, she's not a person.
It'd be more cleaning, you know, like the...
So this room was called the Little Dining Chambers. So I would imagine they would come in here after food to just relax after a dinner. And here we are in the main dining room. Again, more portraits on the wall, showing the extensive portfolio that the lady had in her collection. All rooms have beautiful fireplaces in, and this has got obviously the wood panelling on the walls and bespoke furniture. As I mentioned earlier, a lot of use of glass, so the windows are very large, floor to ceiling, letting quite a bit of light through. Again, more tapestries all on the walls. So as we head down the stairs, again I would say these are the servant stairs as they lead down to the kitchen and preparation of the food areas. Although impressive, not as grand as the stairs in the main entrance. And here we are down in the kitchen servants areas. You can see the bell on the wall. This is where I would say they would call them to be summoned. This is possibly a dining area for the servants and staff. And here's the old stoves they used to cook on in the olden days. I would imagine this would be quite a hustle and bustle, preparing the food ready for the feasts. Probably got the coldest room, ain't you?
Oh.
I just had a joke with the member of staff, as it was quite cold in here down the bottom compared to some of the rooms, but he did have a radiator next to him to keep warm. I've seen quite a few rooms off rooms down the bottom here. Obviously some you weren't allowed to go in, so we couldn't have a look. But this is where the tour finishes of the house, and we go out into the garden and out in the grounds.
Lived in Sheffield Castle for a while.
So after the death of Bess of Hardwick, the Dukes eventually came to prefer Chatsworth over Hardwick and partially dismantled the Old Hall in the 1750s, which gradually became ruinous, and its open interior was planted with specimen trees in 1793. The Hardwick Estate was eventually transferred to the National Trust in 1959, and the Ministry of Works took on the guardianship of the Old Hall, carrying out major programme of stabilisation works. The smoke blackened stonework was cleaned in the 1980s, and in the 1990s the timber viewing platform was built in the hill Great Chamber, making it possible to see the extraordinary plasterwork at close hand, which we're going to have a look now. So in 1584 she moved back to the estate at Hardwick. When she returned as a countess, she needed something grander than her father's medieval manor house. Bess commissioned a new house near to her whole family home, and in 1587, which became known as this particular house, Hardwick Old Hall, as the new one was built. On the upper floors, the two wings contained staterooms for formal entertaining, lit by tall windows which command bold views across the open landscape. Each suite of the staterooms had its own great chamber. Although the Old Hall is open to the elements, many of the original plaster overmantels are still in place, which I will show you as we go up there. You can just see through this view here all the plasterworks that are shown in every room that would have been in place at the time. This was all cleaned in the 1980s and is kept clean today for people to have a look around. Although the new Hardwick Hall was built, I would say this was quite a substantial property as well. And this is the platform that was built in the 1990s. So you can see the plasterwork close at hand. And those are the extraordinary views overlooking the Derbyshire countryside. And there we go, the the new hall in the background of the old one. And even higher. Sorry about the wind, but it was windy up here. And I look right the way down to the floor. Just shows how extensively high the property was. And this is just round the exterior of the property. Just a shame really it was left to ruin, but they preferred Chatsworth over Hardwick. So like I say, it was partially dismantled in the 1750s and it became ruinous, which is what you see today. But restoration was obviously taken to preserve what is left of the old hall. And this was just in the garden of the old hall that attracted my attention, just wondering where it was. If anyone knows, please drop it in the comment section. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts. But even the old hall is impressive, and then she went and built the new hall. So as we walk into the gardens of the Hardwick Hall, they surround all the corners of the property with trees and shrubbery. Again, maintained very well by the National Trust. I have been really impressed with the few sites I've visited, how they keep the gardens tidy and maintained. And the old buildings around the corners of the property, and we can see the extensive Hardwick Hall presence there. Again, overlooking the Derbyshire countryside. As we make our way back through the garden, with the water feature pond there right in the centre of the garden at the front. And that completes our tour around Hardwick Hall. So I just wanted to get some footage as I drive back through the grounds of Hardwick Estate. It was quite a long drive going through. It just shows how vast the land on these properties are. They must have had serious wealth back in the day when these buildings were built. Drive round from the car park, and the actual exit, it goes through the place where we walked through to the Hardwick Old Hall, as you will see in a moment. So we go through past the front of the Hardwick Hall, and here as we walk through, and you can see the ruins of the Hardwick Old Hall to the right. And this leads you out the grounds, and we head back home. I hope you've liked the video. If you'd like to visit the property, then please see the description for more information and a link to the website. Also, the location of our stopover from the previous night is also located in the description. So I look forward to seeing you again on the next video, and thank you for watching. If you like the video, please hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and click the bell icon to notify of when I release a new video. Thank you for watching.